Here's an easy way to dress up your fireplace over mantle. In this video, I'll show you how I install Shiplap with just a few easy steps using a pin nailer, construction adhesive, and all the rest of the tools will be linked in the description below. The shiplap we chose for this project was a 1/2 inch thick, and then we were using 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch corner molding to cover up the side edges of that. So the first step was to figure out how wide we wanted the shiplap to be. I went with the outside of the fireplace mantle legs as the finished dimension. Then find your center, and you're going to put a mark on the wall to run that all the way up to the top. I also recommend marking your studs out, because we're going to use a pin nailer to tack this up to the wall. After finding our center and determining the overall finished width of 74 inches, I took the thickness of the corner molding stock and subtracted that from that measurement. That left me with the final measurement to cut all of my boards. After cutting a stack of shiplap boards that'll take me all the way to the top of this project, I brought them back in and started installing the first row. This is the most important one. As you saw that I used a shim and leveled this board to build off of this. Now moving on to the second one, we've got to account for an outlet and a data port here for the HDMI cable. So I'm going to go ahead and freehand this one. I recommend doing this in the field as opposed to trying to take a bunch of measurements, because really all you got to do is hold it up, mark out your sides, and then bring it back up and mark off the top and bottom measurements for each one of these holes. I'm going to take this piece out to the garage, use a jigsaw, drill some pilot holes, and get this piece cut. Once this is installed, we can go ahead and start slapping all the rest of the boards up. Once we get to the top, we're going to have to deal with that angled ceiling. I'll show you a couple tricks for that, and then we're going to wrap the top and bottom with 1x4s before putting that corner molding on. So let's go ahead and burn through this, and we'll jump into those other tips and tricks in a moment here. For these next few pieces, we need to find the angle from the ceiling, and I find it easiest to take the measurement from the ceiling down to the previous row, transfer that measurement over to its corresponding locations on the next board, and then I'll use my track saw to cut that. And again, there's a link down below for the track saw that I'm using in this video, but it makes it the easiest for cutting long angled cuts. As we get higher, the boards will actually get shorter, so once we've got the final measurement from the right side to where the board is going to intersect with the ceiling, all I'm doing is taking the height measurement from the center line and transferring that over to the board, and then I'm using that to create my angled cut. For the top 1x4 cap, I'm going to take a measurement for the entire span, and then I'm going to move over to the side here, and I'm using a shim. You could use something wider than that if you'd like. And I'm just taking a sample piece of 1x4, scrap piece of wood here, to find the angle by marking it off with a pencil. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. Then I'm going to transfer that angle over to the board that I've just transferred the final measurement to. And now I've got my angled cut on that. You can do this like crown molding and calculate your angles for miters and bevels so that you can return this back. With a 1x4, it's not as complicated as crown molding. But again, a simple process and a really easy way, down and dirty, to get your measurements on the go in the field. After installing our lower 1x4 in a similar fashion to baseboard, just using 90-degree miter joints, we got our measurements for our 1/2-inch corner molding cap. Being conscientious of that angle above, we were about 15.2 degrees on that, so we made sure to transfer that angle to the top of the left and right pieces respectively. And then I always install this by going for the top first, bringing it in, tagging it at the bottom, and then working my way up along the way to make sure that it's seated properly, nice and tight, and nice and straight. Thanks for watching this really simple process, and I know that with a little bit of setup you could knock this same job out in an hour or two, even with any other wall coverings. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you got some value from this video, give me a like, give me a share, and I will see you in the next video.